Good morning, everyone. It's serotonin. I wanted to do this video today because I've been thinking a lot about disclosure in media. And a lot of people like to talk about the different shows and the different movies that have a lot of disclosure. And my sort of personal disclosure movie watching list includes The Dark Crystal. It also includes Groundhog Day, which I have not seen in years, but I have actually seen that one. I have also seen the Dark Crystal as well. Both of them I haven't seen them in decades. But Groundhog Day was very, very, very specifically recommended to me through a very high up Intel person, someone who has access to Intel at a very high level, as one of the most important movies to watch right now. And it's specifically because the main character is able to escape the repetitious nature of the Groundhog Day sort of curse by eventually committing to a complete and total service to others' life. And literally, like that, the next day changes. And so, this has been given to us as extremely important advice at this point. Um, Shows that have a lot of intel. People have said Stranger Things is a good one. There's another one called The Dark, which has been recommended. There's also, I believe it's called Black Screen or Black Mirror. Sorry, Black Mirror. That's a British one. A lot of these ones I haven't seen because they tend to be a bit more violent, and I can't really. I don't expose myself to a lot of violence on in the media on purpose. But what I wanted to talk about today was books. And I love to read. I'm a big reader, and I wanted to share some of my disclosure type books with you guys. If you are interested, you can read them yourself. But what I really wanted to do was get from my subscribers and the people who are going to watch this video, tell me about the books that you find to be like in retrospect, like, oh my gosh, there was so much disclosure in that. So the number one thing, the number one author that I would suggest that you check out is Kurt Vonnegut. Kurt Vonnegut's very, very well known author, and he has done a lot of really amazing books. And the first one I would recommend you read, sorry, is Slaughterhouse-Five. There's been movies made of it. Don't watch the movie; it won't do the book justice whatsoever. There's a lot of very interesting things going on about a human zoo and time. The Tralfamadorians or Tralmaphidorians, I can't remember how they're pronounced, but they're a hand. They're a group of an alien race shaped like a hand. And so there's something very interesting going on with time, and then there's the human zoo. The other thing I really like about Kurt Vonnegut is he's always talking about the human condition and how people are getting along with each other. It's sort of like that show Fringe, which is another one I would highly recommend. If you haven't watched it, do watch it. It's a good show. There's a bit of violence and gore, but it's very good actually. And that's one of the things I really loved about that show is that it's all about the human condition and love and affection for people, as well as it being this science fiction setting. And I think that that's kind of the point of what's going on here is that we are in a world that we don't understand, but at the end of the day, it's our human condition. It's how we relate to each other and how we love each other that affects us in the greater way. Now, a book that I really, really, really want to recommend, of course, I would be very silly if I didn't say read Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm sure there's tons of information in there. It's a really funny book too, especially if you like dry British humor like I do. Then definitely you're gonna like that. And I would gather a guess that most people who are my age, of 40s and up, have probably read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Read it again. It's a good one. Okay, moving on. The person I really wanted to talk about, or the book that I really wanted to talk about, is called Riverworld. It's the Riverworld series, and the very first book is called To Your Scattered Bodies Go. It was written by Philip Jose Farmer, and a lot of people don't know that name. It's a bit of a wacky name, Philip Jose Farmer. Anyway, he's amazing. One of my absolute 100% favorite authors ever of science fiction. As you can tell, I'm a big sci-fi fan. Um, and he wrote this book called To Your Scattered Bodies Go. and it's part of a series called the River World series. And essentially, it's about so everybody in the whole universe. I'll just give you a very basic um, idea, and then I won't be able to give you much more to the story because I don't remember much more of it. But the setup is this: the world was destroyed, sort of for similar reasons as in Hitchhiker's Guide. Like it was something very functional or something to do with the universe. And so the world has been destroyed, and everybody who has ever incarnated on the planet has now been reincarnated onto another planet called Riverworld. And Riverworld is enormous, and it can support every life form, every human life form since its beginnings at one time. And the whole thing is being overseen by a group of aliens, and I totally don't remember what they're called, but they are very, very mathematical and very pragmatic. And so they put in percentages of people. They look at how they're trying to get everyone to get along. And so they put in certain areas percentages of people in order for them to not feel isolated, but also to see how people will get along. So, for example, in one region, they might put 30% Neanderthal, 25% French royalty from the 16th century, or French, elitist, or 5% or whatever. 27%, I don't know, Russian, like it's like, so it's very like it's specific groups that are put together, modern people with Neanderthal or earlier society, and then people of various classes and various languages and stuff. And they need to try and get along. And if you die, if you're killed, you're thrown into the river and you are reborn elsewhere on the planet. Everybody's born at the age of 21. So even if you were, I can't remember if it works that if you were a child when you died, that you become a child again, or if you get born to 21. But anyway, everybody comes out of these giant pods, and they're naked, and they're 21 years old, and when they come out of their pod, there's little sort of sections to the pod that will have stuff for them, like clothing or whiskey and tobacco. It was written earlier last century. It's a really cute book. And of course, they need their daily rations of whiskey and tobacco. I wonder if Philip Jose Farmer was raised during the war and had to live through rationing, because it really reminds me of the way my dad talks about his experience as a child. But anyway, it's very, very interesting. And I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to give the rest of the book away because it's really, really fun. It's one of my absolute favorite books ever. And I really want to recommend that you guys read it because it's really cool. And it's funny too. I like, it's very dry. I like dry humor. My parents are British, so I apologize in advance if that's not your style. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Those are my favorite picks. Those are my recommendations. Please, I absolutely implore you to send and leave in the comments your favorites, what you want others to read or watch or consider, that there might be some information. So, disclosure in media. Let's pass it on. Okay, hope you guys are having a great day. Happy Friday. Talk to you real soon. Okay, bye.